meeting to order. If you all would please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr.
Bow your head, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all of the rain you've given us, Lord. Please take care of our county. Please watch over us as we make decisions on your behalf with you guiding us. We need you to lead.
Please let the record show that all three commissioners are here present, along with Council Drew Porter and the Auditor's Office. Have you all had an opportunity to look over the meeting? I do have two items that I want to add. The first one is H, County Highway 2026 CCMG, and the other is I, Law Enforcement Interlocal with both Sanborn and Likewise Church. Does anyone else have anything?
Not right now.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor, 3-0. Everybody have an opportunity to review the minutes for both the January 20th and the March 1st.
It's the January 20th, that was a typo.
Oh, that's a typo. Yeah, this is March.
February 17th.
Yeah, and then also the March 1st.
I have.
Okay. Make a motion to approve those minutes.
A second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. I do not believe we have any appointments at this point in time. So we'll just skip right down to new business. The biannual report for Knox County Veteran Services. Kevin? Hey, Kevin, how are you? Good. If you would just go ahead and hit that, when you get ready, just hit that red button there. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
This here is in regards to the Indiana Code 10-17-1-9, formerly known as SEA 433. It requires Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs to brief every county commissioner meeting in public twice a year. Knox County has a strong county veteran service office. Marty Quackenbush, he set Justin up pretty good for success, and the office with Justin is fully qualified of all the requirements of this code. Today, John Lee started, and we'll get him up and running as soon as we can. Some of the things that the director wanted me to point out is things that you're already in compliance, 1,000-hour work annually. You have all the technology that's required in the office. One of the big things was they want everybody to have what's called a VA PIP card, and Justin had it within months. Marty made sure of that. And we'll work on getting John Lee his as soon as he goes through the training and all that. They are using the claim management system, which is called VetraSpec. IDVA provides one account to the county veteran service officer, and Knox County pays for the second account, which is about $4.99 a year. The one thing that is required is their annual training. They'll time will have computer-based training to take care of, but they will also have spring training and fall training, which is district training. And we usually have that at the Gastoff House in Montgomery. And this year, we're having a law firm that's specialized in VA claims and appeals to come in and give our annual training, which will be at the Johnson County Armory in Franklin, Indiana. And those dates is June 15th through the 18th. This is mandatory training that they will have to go to. And the spring training is going to be April 14th, like I said, in Montgomery. We'll be excuse me, we'll be tracking some of the CBSO's key performance indicators to make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing, and then we will report that to you guys if not. This law basically had to be taken care of by June 30th. Like I said, Knox County is fully compliant. If you have any questions for me.
Not this time.
No, I understand the purpose and the intent of why you're here. I'm glad you're
Yeah,
here.
I know you, it was even, got a little laugh out of your comment from when I asked to be on the agenda.
Yeah, well,
But
we know, I know,
Hamilton
but,
County is Hamilton County.
yeah, it sure is. But just for your compliance, to make sure you, are covered for your, scope, do you need a copy of our minutes? Just,
No,
okay,
I
all
just
right.
got to report back to my operation director that
Okay,
I completed Knox County. This is about my 5th or 6th county since first of the year, and I got it booked out to April.
gotcha.
I'm the Southwest District Service Officer, if you do not know that. I cover 19 counties now. I had 17 counties, I went down to 15 counties, and we lost a DSO up north, and the state decided not to replace him, and took me up to 19. So I'm a very busy person, but I'll try to get in and help Justin as much as I can to train John Lee.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank
Kevin.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate your
Thank
time. Petport interlocal agreement revisions. Drew.
The city of Vincennes wanted to update the interlocal agreement. Two changes. One would be increasing the cost from $250 per dog to $275 per dog, as well as adoption of its own ordinances, rules, and regulations that the city uses, and operation of its pet port. I have no legal objection to either of these. Obviously, we're dependent on the pet port for its services, and its rules and regulations should apply.
Considering these animals are mostly brought in by our sheriff's department, is there any changes that would be relevant that they would need to know besides the cost?
No,
Okay,
no, just when the dog goes there, it falls under the pet port's rules.
And you're absolutely right. We are very dependent upon the pet port and their services. They do a great job. Leah is a very dear friend. And so I would make the motion that we approve the recommended changes to the pet port agreement.
I second.
Okay?
I just want to make comment that it is putting us in agreement that we're responsible for veterinary care for any animal that isn't non-distressed, that is distressed, so.
Correct.
Please have a conversation with council. I'm sure they're gonna have to sign it, but
Yep.
we don't have enough funds. I'm done.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Weight limit restrictions, Knox County roads. I saw him a while ago. Where'd he go? Oh, Chad.
I would
said last week at this time, we probably lifted, roads are in pretty good shape. We are going to get 7 inches of snow, or 7 inches of rain.
We don't want 7 inches of snow.
No,
Chad.
I don't want any more snow, no. But we are, 7 inches of rain's coming this week, it looks like. So now, I have drove a few this morning. I'd say that we'd say for another week at least and see what the roads do with the rain.
So we want to reenact it then, because we.
Yes, I'd say, yes.
Okay.
Yep, and that's totally up to you guys, but I've drove them, I asked the guys this morning. They're in pretty good shape, we're adding stone to a lot of them, but the gravel roads especially, so.
Okay.
I'd say we might see how after the rain, and then hopefully we can lift it.
Okay. And that was a 10-ton.
Yeah, yep.
Before you leave, we'll just go ahead and skip down to your age.
Okay.
But we need to finish this up first. Drew, since we let it lapse, do we need to?
We would need to take a
Okay.
formal vote to enact
Okay.
it again,
Then-
and I can prepare for you signature.
Okay, then I will go ahead and make that motion to reinstate the weight limit as they were, as 10-ton weight limit on our county roads, with the exceptions of the laws.
I second.
Comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. CCMG,
I would like to make a motion, we advertise for bids. You know, we worked on it this morning, she's got it ready to go. What we wanted to know is the time we wanted to open the bids.
yeah, so just kind of back up just a little bit. Both Chad and I received a call from the local programs people at NDOT, and they advised us to go ahead and advertise for our 2026 CCMG, which was basically our 2025 CCMG. And so at this point in time, we need to go ahead and advertise for that. We will open bids at our, was it the first, what's the first
I
meeting?
thought it
of-
was the 7th, I thought.
The
is what it was,
7th.
Drew.
Yeah, April 7th.
April 7th.
Cause it's gonna take at least 2 weeks, it has to be advertised for
Yeah,
at least
needs
2
to be due
weeks.
2 weeks. So we could look at our April 7th meeting to open those bids.
Also, we're gonna put a couple roads in for our local,
Yeah, I have some questions there.
okay,
Yeah, so we're gonna bid out our original application, correct?
Yes.
With no amendments?
yeah, yes, I amended a lot of them, Kelly, so.
Okay,
But what we've got is we've got 4 that wasn't on the road inventory. And there's some subdivisions, they have been added, but we have enough money to pay for them ourselves without, maybe this will go through a little better. You know what I mean here?
so,
They don't want us to add anything, I guess is what our
right, we've
original-
applied, period.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
get, I get that, our application is what it is. So we've been instructed to bid what is correct? Is that what we're saying?
No, so I was advised that we had, same as years past, we had non-detrimental errors in our submission, same as we've had in years past. However, in years
Well,
past,
we've
there was
always been
multiple-
awarded, though.
Let me finish, please. Years past, they were not deemed worthy of throwing out because there was plenty of money. This time around, there was a difference in the CCMG and the way they did it, and then so they started throwing out all the non-detrimentals. Non-detrimental will not hurt you in this go-around, according to Kathy.
Okay, really what I'm asking is, I just wanna see what we're bidding out before we bid it out, that's all.
Okay,
We've amended our application, even though it's our application, I just wanna see it, that's
sure,
all.
sure, I can get, yeah.
Thank you.
I'll get you whatever you need, can I email it to you?
Yeah,
I'll have
yeah.
Billy or
Oh, yeah.
somebody email it to you.
No, I just wanna see it,
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem,
thank you.
yep.
So I have time to, before we get here to
Well,
put
yeah,
the bid.
I understand,
All
sure.
right. Or open bids, so to say.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I do have another, obviously, we knew the ADA compliance was gonna change, we've known that for a while.
Yep,
I don't know, I don't really wanna make a knee-jerk reaction, we have a little bit of time. I prefer we be thoughtful in this process because it will impact our future funding completely at the highway department as well as other grants in our community. So, I don't see where we have manpower to complete the necessary plans. I'm sure you're very well aware of what has to be done, TJ, with NDOT. So, I suggest there are many excellent people that do this and that can do it for us because we have no baseline. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, we'll
We
definitely have
entertain
to
that?
get with, we'll have to get with council first to see, financial part of it, because we're gonna have to take on more manpower.
Okay. Well, my request is we do it as soon as
Yeah, oh,
possible.
absolutely, I
In
agree
my,
with
in
that.
my opinion, this needs to be somebody countywide that takes care of the jail,
Absolutely.
parks, any county building, you know, and Bill cannot do that with what he's doing.
No,
So,
no, it was a title only.
Yeah,
so
I know, it,
understand.
but I would like to see, even if it was a part-time gig for somebody, you know, that would be something, but,
I don't know about hiring somebody,
Yeah.
in that regard, but.
yeah, and I didn't know, you guys know a lot more better than I do. I know the highway department, that's it, so,
Well, I wanted to bring it up because it has been under the highway erroneously.
Yep.
Again, because it's been in title only.
Mhm.
But we need to do something about that soon.
Okay, make a motion
Thank
to,
you.
advertise for bids for the CCMG 2026. Is there a second?
I second.
First and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
yep.
Solar farm, ordinance discussion only. So we were asked to bring any of our suggestions back to Drew, so he could start working on drafting any, if there's any changes to be made.
We were asked, what's that mean?
Drew asked us at our meeting to come back with any suggestions
From what, Sunday? Is that what you're saying?
from all the meetings that we've had.
Okay. Okay, I can ask questions.
Yeah, so at this time, I would like to open it up to the three of us to make any suggestions that we might have for the 2020-2 ordinance. I don't know if anyone has any, I have a few.
I'd like to start off.
Okay,
I'd like the water safety to be kind of spelled out a little bit better, so it could be kind of outlined in our ordinance. Boone County had a good, kind of how, quite a bit to read here, but the gist of it is they implemented periodic well testing during construction and pre-construction phase. They monitored the water for pH levels, turbidity, total dissolved solids, heavy metals, nitrates, RC, RA, basically heavy metals. And they had the timing and stuff when this would go on. Said water must be tested one month before construction, and then periodically every 6 months during the construction period. And I like that to be kind of spelled out a little bit better in there, just so we know we're protecting these people's well waters and stuff, because city water, I know, is tested 24 hours a day, and county water is tested once daily, and then it's sent off to be tested once a week. There's really no one testing well waters. I know no one's ever tested mine but myself, but I'd kind of like that kind of spelled out a little bit better in the ordinance, and make sure that's kind of,
okay.
you wanna vote on, like, how do you wanna do, like, each individual one? or how do you-
Yeah, I would say we probably wanna do each individual one, if that's, was that what you want, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, takes a majority of you to
Yeah.
have an ordinance change, so if you take it in an isolated approach, if two of you are in agreement, obviously, we're gonna have to draft the formal changes to the ordinance, send it to area plan, come back, second and third reading. But at least a general discussion would help gain you're not voting on the legalese of the
Right.
ordinance at this time, just the general recommendations of where you want it to go.
No, I just like, that spelled out a little bit
Right.
better in the,
Correct.
just to know that people's home water's protected, well water, and, I mean, we got livestock and stuff too, 'cause I have looked into reverse osmosis systems pull out these heavy metals that could potentially be in the groundwater, and they're $10,000 to $15,000 per home. And I didn't have any heavy metals, but I had to, when we was building our house, I had all hard water, had all 3 forms of iron in my water, and it cost me $13,000 between the chlorinator, the water softeners, the filters, and then all the other tools and I have down there.
Our current plan has, they have to get approval from the Knox County Soil and Water Conservation District with a pollution prevention plan, so I mean, we can spell that out a little bit more on different things that are there, so we can look at doing that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem spelling it out better. So I had in my groundwater, I wanted to see it monitored within the fence line on a yearly basis. And then those results sent to the area plan, so that anyone could see them, within 30 days of being received. So I don't have a problem with adding those. Kelly?
No, I still have several things that I can send all my informal list. Cause I have several things to address, that are been talked about and discussed.
Okay.
I wasn't aware I had to have it prepared today. And there's a lot of state regulation that is not being considered in a lot of this talk, and you can't be more stringent than, so, I've been reviewing all of the laws wrapped around electricity, wells, dikes, holes, tanks, pole, confined feeding, trying to compare them all, because we have to legislate equally.
Correct.
So that's, I've got a call with item very soon about water specifically and how solar impacts it and such. My full-time job is a health department, so I'm very well aware of contaminants in well water. I'm still, this is a process, and, I still listened on Sunday and wrote some things down that I'm following up on, so my list is not compiled.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem
I mean,
with,
the considerations the area plan gave us, was obviously a guide of sorts of, I've inquired, 300, I was, again, understanding the impacts of solar, I was major part of writing this law in the first place, and the area plan wanted 300 feet in the beginning, and it was reduced then, so I think we definitely need to reevaluate feet, but again, I wanna reevaluate all of our sources of energy and, other facilities that require it to be zoned and set back, even down to cell phone towers, so I'll send all of my information there. Also.
But we're just dealing with solar right now. I mean,
Yeah, I'm talking about solar.
the I don't agree with the 300. I mean, we were voted in to protect homeowners and their property rights. I would like to go with 500 feet from the primary structure. If we're looking at distance, I haven't gotten into cell phone towers or anything like that. I mean, these people didn't ask to be put in an industrial park. I wouldn't want it around my house, and I'm not gonna ask. 500 that is per the state, they looked at protecting home property values within 200 feet of the solar fields reduced 5 to 7%. Properties 500 feet to 700 feet reduced down to 200%, or 2% and loss of home value. And then surrounding all sides of the homes, I'm not for that either.
I've never said I am, but I have lots of other things around homes that impact us. I mean, within 500 feet of my home, I have a gas pad, a water tower, an electric substation, a reclaimed coal mine ground, confined feeding, farming an inch to my property. You know, we've got everything. I don't like solar, and I agree. I signed up to be safe, smart, and legislate fairly. And I absolutely agree that there are some matters to amend, and I'm open to that. But still, I have some more work to do. So I will, there you go. What are you thinking, TJ?
Well, I'm just gonna throw out some of mine.
Okay.
So the grading plan should be submitted to the Knox County Area Plan, prior to, wildlife corridors. The plan should identify an access corridor for wildlife to navigate through a solar facility project. The proposed wildlife corridor should, be shown in the detailed site map to extend to its reasonable practical areas between and or along fencing shall be kept open to contain openings to allow for the movement of migratory animals and other wildlife. Setbacks from the county drain tiles, transmission lines, and or natural gas lines are all valid wildlife corridors. Drew, I know you were working with Soil and Water on some landscaping stuff, but I would like to see some added in for the landscaping. Screening plan should demonstrate the plan to migrate any native visual impact on residents and other principal structures or adjoining property via fencing, the planting of vegetation, utilizing of existing natural screening, or a combination thereof. Additionally, the plan should demonstrate the proposed method of controlled site erosion via the planting of grass or other cover crops. Unhealthy and dead plants should be removed promptly and no later than 1 year of being provided written notice from the zoning administrator, zoning board.
I think we already say that.
We have
Yeah.
alluded to, but it's not really spelled.
Okay.
So that's why I was just throwing in some
Okay.
additional spelling in. It was alluded to, but not really thrown in.
Okay.
And then also the remaining, pollinary friendly plants. But I also want those, trees planted in 2 rows, staggered, offsetting.
And I'd like that all the way, regardless if people like to have that or not, I'd like that all the way around the projects to where there are minimal visual disturbances.
Let me back up here, I kinda went backwards on this. Clear maps to, at appropriate scale should be provided, both electronic and hard copy. We alluded to that, but it wasn't in there specifically, but also the topographical map at 1 foot contours, the political and natural features such as, but not limited to county boundaries, waterways, roadways, and easements, identification of property, land parcels, and adjoining land parcels, and associated state tax parcels, numbers, including locations of all permitted and primary structures within said parcel. Again, we allude to, but we don't specifically state it. And then also on the boundary survey, I wanna take out anything that says the previous recorded survey. These need to be new surveys.
Where's
fresh
that
surveys.
cited?
It's under, E in the Economic Development Plan, and it's part number 2, boundary survey. It says in here, or reference to a previous recorded survey. They need to be new surveyed out, to make sure they're current with whatever everything's going on. Sticking with that, the location of fencing, all solar panel arrays for the project must be surrounded by fencing no less than 6 foot in height. Number 5, continuing that, floodplain, add in based upon delineation prepared in accordance with the applicable U.S. Army Corps of Engineer. Again, it's alluded to but not spelled out. And then 6, location of all above ground and utility or underground utility lines, again, not spelled out, associated with or adjacent to the project area. Then on 10, same area, location of recognized historical or heritage sites as listed by the Indiana Department of Natural Resources as Natural Register of Historical Places and State Register of Historical Places within 1 mile of the project. 11, GIS coordinates and general outline of project areas. Drew, you don't have to write all this down, I'll give this to you later. 12, all proposed structure, equipment, access roads inside the project area, and then 13, identification areas, informal and warning signs. Again, they're alluded to, but I just want them spelled out a little bit better in the actual plan itself.
We also should consider setbacks from towns, schools, and parks, particularly when we want to hem our, if we would decide to grow like towns and stuff, what do you guys think about how close these solar fields can be to populated areas?
Well, I think the first thing is and I know this isn't gonna be popular for some, but, I do agree with the area plan on the setback of 300 foot. That was the original, it was amended down to 2. I do agree with the area plan and going 300 foot from foundation of homes. I think that's, the state is actually 250. If you read the Indiana law 26-7-2-8, we're going a little bit above that at 300. And I think that that is it's a fair number, in my opinion.
Kelly, what do you say on the setback from homes? I know we live in a farming community. I mean, I've got chickens 150 feet from my house. I mean, that was my choice, but.
Well, our current law states, and I've heard a lot of rhetoric through all of this. I live in the coal mine, and you can mine coal 300 foot from my house, the way our current law reads. It is what it is. So in my mind, I'm deviating coal, solar, and all of these things into one bucket, which is why I'm taking the approach I'm taking. So to me, looking at, we have no setbacks for oil, gas, well holes, dikes, tanks. Confined feeding is 500 feet because you gotta escape the smell. And several others don't have setbacks that are, I mean, electric substations, they have no local authority. So, and there's a lot of ugliness to this crap that I see too. So in my mind, I wanted to find and legislate a number that is in the area of where our current law sits. I have looked at lots of other counties, believe it or not. I don't know where some of this data is coming from. Counties, there's only, there's not near as many bans and moratoriums as is being stated. I've consulted lots of commissioners statewide, and the recommendation from the area plan, I think, is, I mean, it lines with coal. So, I mean, that's where I stand.
If we've got to go down to 300, can we address how many sides of a home can they be around? Because there's a home over in Petersburg I seen online that had around all 4 sides of the house. I mean, they had it across the street from them, and then all three sides. Seemed like it was right on top of their house. And
I don't see an issue us discussing and reviewing language about number of sides of a home, or, I mean, there is some language there that I think, you know, absolutely we can talk about. I don't know what that would look like, so we would have to talk about that. I would never wanna, I mean, again, it's something we can add to the list. I just don't know how to appropriately.
So would it be fair then for you if we utilize this list for Drew to start drafting the first draft? Obviously, we're gonna have to hear it
Oh,
on
yeah.
first reading.
Yeah, 'cause-
Would that be fair for you at that point?
Well,
Including what you-
that's what I was thinking we were doing. So yes, let me finish. I have two
Sure.
more things. I'll send my list, you all have your list, and then we'll draft it, and that's the process. I mean, that's kinda
Okay.
what I hoped we'd do, so.
Well, yes, but Drew had said several times that he wanted some suggestions from us, what that language is gonna look like, so he knows what direction to go in. But I'm perfectly fine with this list going to Drew. Drew, do you have enough to basically get started?
and I can email
He's
you
like, yeah,
mine.
sure. And then we'll come back now, I will say this for everyone in the audience, this will not be on our agenda at our next meeting. Drew has some, obligations that he's gonna take care of, so it will be at our, what was that, April 7th meeting, that we'll take this back up, so it will not be on the agenda for the next meeting, giving time, for our attorney to draft up any resolution or any draft that we would have for first reading. At that point in time, we would hear it on first reading, refer it back to area plan, and then they would, give us a favorable or unfavorable recommendation at that point in time.
TJ, I just wanna make a point for the media and the public. I know we've stated this a couple other times in the meetings, but any changes to the solar ordinance only impact entities that file a new application. Any solar entity that has a current application on file falls under the current law as it
Correct.
stands now, so.
And didn't you say that since we already have an ordinance in place, a lot of these, ideas we had and stuff to change or adjust this ordinance cannot be made without potential lawsuit, is that correct? Like if we, say we put a protection of home value on that, what else do I have on there? It just, I know a lot of, legally it sets us up for potential lawsuits if we change too much with this ordinance, since there's already leases and stuff in place. So we can't do a lot of adjustments, even if we don't agree with them. Am I correct in understanding that?
There's a difference between no solar, no entities, and you're starting from scratch, and then changing the rules midway through the game. So, all laws are valid until they're challenged and the court tells you otherwise. And so, there's reliance by landowners on both sides on these, so it's just, the landscape's different now than it was when we originally did it.
Okay.
Any further discussion, Mr.?
No, I do take seriously the concerns of water, so I do wanna dive into that a little more, and, we'll review all of our recommendations soon.
Absolutely.
But other than that, screening and those recommendations that were given from area plan, I think they're reasonable, but I still wanna think about that, cause Tim wants to amend it, so,
Okay.
all right.
E, land use moratoriums. Tim?
From my understanding, that we could go forward with these moratoriums and take the same amount of time if we put a committee together and get something put in place. They would require work, lawyers, different groups. So essentially it would it'd take us just as much time to put a moratorium in place than it would to set up an ordinance, or right around the same amount of time. I think we should set up a committee and to address these, or put a moratorium in place, but either way, it's about the same amount of time. And the committee would be our standard committee with multiple representatives of the community and different groups. So I make a motion to either go forward with the moratoriums or set up the committees to address these ordinances, or set up a committee.
So, I'm not in favor of the moratoriums, only because what you just said, we can set up the committees and move forward on those. To me, they're not necessary. So I'm in favor of developing the committee, redoing the committees. We'll have a representation from council, representation from us, area plan, obviously. We will have to seek outside legal counsel on this one. I know, if we're speaking with Drew, we'll wanna do that. So if at our next meeting, Drew, you can set that up for us, and at our next meeting, we can, discuss having that on the table and put the committee together.
Yeah, we need draft language that prescribes that committee.
Yes.
Who's on it.
Economic development would need to be on there.
Preferably, set some boundaries and goals of how it's reported in a time frame. I mean, this is work, like real work. So I just ask that we do this the right way, because this, is very important. I don't disagree with you, Tim. However, we gotta have all the people at the table.
Okay.
So if you'll get some language for us and put it on our agenda, that would be great.
Thank you. Moving on, claims. Oh, yeah, claims. We'll go ahead and do claims. We all had an opportunity to read the claims.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve claims.
I'll second that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Payroll. Make a motion to approve payroll.
I'll second.
First and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. I, law enforcement interlocal agreements. Sheriff, you wanna talk about them? You're just happy with them?
This is our
Okay.
standard.
Yeah, there's a standard interlocal agreement. We have one with a Sanborn First Christian Church and one with, oh my, what was that called? Life Wise Academy, South Knox High School. So I'd make a motion to approve both of those interlocal agreements. Do I have a second?
I second.
First and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Code compliance officer, don't have any news from him. Ready 2.0. I don't know if you've all had an opportunity to drive out by the industrial park lately, but they are really, moving dirt a lot. No real difference in what we reported the last one. The Beer House Flats, they are actually starting on their third apartment complex, if you will. So that's moving along really rapidly. So look forward to seeing both those come to fruition for Ready 2.0. EMO, yeah. Operations Center. Tim.
We're exploring some options out the jail. We're still in the space aspect of it. I will say it will be an independent of the jail. It won't be part of the jail. It'll have its own entrance, own exit, and it won't be, it's not gonna be governed by the sheriff. It's gonna be kinda like the standalone entity like it is in the old jail right now. But we're still in that discovery phase. We're just seeing if we have enough space out there to move forward.
When do you think that you'll have something for us?
I would say after the county council meets and has their discussion about it, I'd say we'd have something for the next meeting.
Okay.
On whether to move forward, see how much with the space and ideas, what we have.
Yeah, I know we don't have any time frames on it, but I very much would like to see this progress.
Yeah, they've gotta meet and then we're gonna move full steam, like, if this doesn't work, we'll explore other avenues, but I don't wanna drag my feet on this any longer, so.
We have a building designed. We paid $280,000 to design it. It's designed.
A design that's $1.3 million over budget.
Yeah, well, that's a fine point to throw out, but again, that can be reduced
Yep.
through work.
Yeah. Okay. Public comment under 2020-2.
You kept going. This is in my packet. It was in my email.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So we're gonna spend more money to get more, is this, I'm just asking, is this what,
That's where.
you're going to
discovery
council for
phase.
that? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we
Okay.
discussed in the
Well,
building
my
committee.
big issue here is, again, we're missing the coroner. We've got to include the coroner.
There's gonna be 2 floors potentially.
I don't, okay, well, I'm still not in favor of our jail. It is the same property, but just make sure the coroner's included, because it's not
We-
listed here.
We'll get with the department heads and you gotta figure out if we got enough space to do it first. And that's what we're in. And then we'll bring the department heads in to see what they think and get their input. I just can't, it's kinda hard to, if we don't know if you have the space, to bring them in and go, hey, what do you think? And it's a hypothetical potential structure, so.
So when do you think that you'll be able to move forward on one or the other?
Next meeting, I'll have a lot more to discuss at that time. Cause it won't take, with meeting with the architect, it won't take him very long at all to move forward, like give us, well, if it's gonna be 3,000 square feet, we have 3,500, 2,500, and then we can kinda go forward with that or scrap that idea and go with something else.
Okay. All right. Public comment under 2020-2. Is there anyone who would like to speak today on anything germane to the? Okay. If not, our next meeting will be March 17th, 2026, 6 p.m. here at the City Hall. If there's nothing else, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Gal, go ahead.
Okay, you move fast. So, I'm Cindy Gilmore, I'm from Monroe City, and I love the fact that you are going to form a committee to study the solar a little farther, but I hope that you include some of your constituents in this committee also, that we all put you there, so we would like you to really listen to some of the people. Some of us have studied this project a lot, all over Indiana. So when you're forming that committee, if you would contact both sides. I mean, we want equal voices here. And I know you're really stuck on that 300 feet, but come measure my yard 300 feet from where they would start. And I know you've had coal mines, we've had coal mines all around us, and we've had to deal with that. But this is, I've been to Petersburg, I've been to Wheatland, and I really pity the people that their homes are in the middle of this because of not just how unsightly it is, but the safety. I think if it is 300 feet from my home and my grandkids throw a ball and it ends up in there, well, I can tell you my grandkids are crazy. They're going to go over that fence and get that ball. And that's not safe to be so close to our homes and our yards. And our water, Tim's right, we spend a fortune to have our water as fresh as it can be and safe. And there's a lot of chemicals gonna roll off of those. And when they pound down into the bedrock, it's all one aquifer out there. And it's going to affect many households. So I want you to just remember that if you would and pray about that. And your committee, there's a lot of people that would volunteer to be on that committee with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, one move right before you, sorry.
Robert Meredith, you all have heard me before. I speak on behalf of the Knox County Coalition for Safe Solar. I don't support the 300 feet. I don't want to be confined by solar. You know, anything greater than that would be much appreciated. You know, everybody deserves that luxury to live the life that they want to live and not have their property value impacted. That's what I'm mostly concerned about. So if you guys could actually reach the middle ground and actually come up with a higher number than 300, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Oh, sir, before, I had one right for you, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Like I said, this doesn't impact me, but I used to coach baseball down at the Little League. And I had some good players. I assume probably you guys have probably played some baseball. And it was nothing for my kid to throw a ball 300 feet. I mean, nothing. So that would be a concern I would have. And I'm sorry I lost air while I was sitting there, but I sure would like to see a blueprint of $280,000 in a building. I'd love to see that print. Within reason, I would pay for a print of that because I'd really like to look at what 280,000 buys you on paper.
Well, that includes a judicial center as well.
Okay.
Yes, just the EOC was
Wasn't that?
$180,000.
Okay.
It's been ongoing since a long time.
Like I said, it doesn't impact me directly, but it could in the future. So, I mean, they did approach me, so, I mean, I know my neighbors got approached. So, I don't wanna get the cart before the horse, but if you were involved in the original drawing up of these, whenever you guys can make a difference, let that be a learning lesson and let that impact your decision from 4 or 5 years ago or whenever it was drawn up originally. Because now it seems like everybody else has to deal with the problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Meredith. I have never done anything like this in my whole entire life. I am not a public speaker. I am just a mom who works at a bank and who just recently found out that she is going to have another baby. I sent you a message, Mr. Brink, thank you. I sent you a message the other day. My son is 4.5. He can absolutely hit a golf ball over 100 yards. That's over 300 feet. That's 100 yards. You're trying to put these things less than a football field away from my home. I understand you probably moved here, you probably bought your house knowing it was around a coal mine or whatever, but we didn't do that. We bought our home because this is where we wanted to raise our family. I understand the need for solar, I get it. That's fine, that's cool. But all of the people who spoke on Sunday for solar, all they did was mention that it could help the community, but that it's going to help their families mostly. I don't feel like any of them gave a rat's butt about any of these people out here, or the kids. My whole point behind this is we're not anti-solar, we are safe solar. 300 feet, and like Cindy said, 300 feet from my property line, from my foundation, that's, what was it, 40 feet from our gravel? 40 feet, 40 feet. And Mike, you guys want our kids to be playing around this. I can't deal with this. What happens, like I told you the other day, there was a tornado last year, 800 feet from my home. We had debris everywhere. What am I supposed to do when one of these panels that is right in my side yard comes flying through my home? We have a back field that's used for hay, for cattle, for our neighbors. What happens if that catches on fire from a lightning strike hitting one of these panels? What are we supposed to do? Who are we supposed to call? Who are we supposed to ask for help once everything everybody out here has worked for has burned to the ground? What are we supposed to do? What protections are we getting? Because a 300-foot setback and a well testing maybe once every 6 months, okay, the well testing is a start, but 300 feet, that is not a start. That is not even a football field. And again, if a 4.5-year-old can hit a golf ball 100 yards, then my God, I mean, we've got to do something. That's ridiculous. He's 4, and if he can hit a solar panel with a golf ball, we've got some bigger problems to worry about. We need more than 300 feet. It is incredibly irresponsible to stay at 300. I understand the current recommendation was 200. APC changed it back to 300, but that's still not enough. If you guys please, please consider making it 500, you are going to keep your community members. Otherwise, I can tell you, I know 10 families who are ready to sell their homes and leave because of this. And that's gonna be a lot of money that you guys are losing. That's gonna be a lot of people that you're losing. South Knox kids, school population going down. I mean, I don't know how else to stress that it's about the kids. It's about your daughter, your daughter, your daughter, their kids, their grandkids. Half of the people that want this solar stuff, I'm sorry, but they are older than me. They are not going to be around forever, and it's gonna get passed down to their kids. And then what happens when everything goes defunct? What happens if they don't have any money? What happens if they just spent everything? Now, the rest of your community is just left cleaning up the mess. I don't think that's okay. I really hope you guys take the time to think about the children, because that's really who this is going to affect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Charlie Bowe,
Charlie.
and our family farm was established in 1865. We still have the original house. It's a log house, but it's been fixed up. We leased to the coal mine when they came through, underground coal mine. And when we signed the lease, we told them that we have a hard time getting water where we live. Everywhere around our farm and everywhere around the solar farm we have a hard time finding water. Talk to any of the hackers that drill water, and they will drill wells, and they will tell you that, yeah, we'll come and drill you a well, but there's no guarantees we'll hit water. So I'm very concerned. When we signed with the coal mine, we told the coal mine in our contract that if we were without water, drinking water, potable water, you have to get us water. We don't care how. If it's county water, you haul us water, whatever. We need water to live, okay? And they put it in the contract, and they drilled some wells, and they checked those wells periodically to make sure that there wasn't anything done to the water table, okay? And we never lost water, but we only have enough water for our homes. We can run out of water anytime. We can pump it dry, okay? So water is a major issue. And we're going from agricultural land to industrial. I don't think people around this area knows that what industrial it means. We know what agricultural land means, but when it goes to industrial, that's a whole new meaning. Thank you for your time. Thank you for our considerations. We just want what's best for Knox County. That's all. I'm not gonna be around here very long, okay? But my family will be. And we could have leased. The money sounded good. I mean, until you really check into it. In that contract, I talked to several lawyers, and that contract is written for the solar companies. It's not written for the farmer. And if they sell to another company, and then and they're doing that at Wheatland, and then they sell to another company, and in 5 years, 10 years, I bet solar's better. I bet they have better solar panels. What happens to these? They say, these aren't very efficient. They're only 30% efficient anyway. But if that efficiency goes down, they're just gonna scrap the whole thing and walk off, leave the farmer and the county with the cleanup. We just want what's best for Knox County, okay? And if they were gonna employ a lot of people like they are out here, okay, at the Amazon place, that's a different story. They're gonna employ a lot of people. There's gonna be a lot of people move in here. There's gonna be a lot of tax revenue. But when these are built, they're gonna be built out of Texas. There'll be Texas trucks coming in and out. There won't be local workers. And then after they're built, there'll be 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 people that will be caretakers of that area. So we're gonna employ 4 people, maybe? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody. My name's Mitch Meek. Just got a couple questions for you guys regarding the water issue. TJ, you said the companies would monitor the water where
Putting
the,
in my proposal.
do what?
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm putting in my proposal that they
Okay.
would monitor, yes.
So, say I wish to move out to South Petersburg Road somewhere, the house we are potentially looking at, would it be a good idea for me to have that water tested before we even contemplate buying that house?
Yeah, I'm not
And say-
giving you legal advice. I'm not an
Okay.
attorney.
Okay, so what that tells me there, I probably need to have my wells tested, and then if it tastes funky throughout the time of something being built, then not asking for legal advice. I wonder if I need to, take that to court, get that cleared up. I don't know if the company installing the solar would fix that issue. I have a lot of questions when it comes to all that kind of stuff. Another question, when it comes to the whole tax thing, is there, all that is zoned agricultural, correct? Right now? All that's zoned agricultural?
Probably.
So if an industrial scale solar farm moves in, is that now zoned industrial? That's my question for that. That's 2 things I got. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Black, and I'm born and raised here in Knox County, and we live on Lucky Point Road in an area that's going to be affected by the solar. And one of the first concerns out of my husband was the water, because unlike Charlie with not having good water, we do have good water. I've had our well water tested a few times, and they have said, and this is well water, and I said yes, because we do have some of the best water. And my husband's always said that, you know, during the time that we've lived there. We have our well at the rent house, and on, you know, we have 2 wells. And it's a concern, you know, to us, of course. And then the other thing is talking about the people. What's really driving me, even though it is going to affect us, is that young man sitting back there, Tommy, and his wife, and families like that. I understand, you know, that people got up yesterday and talked about their hardships, and farmers and everything, but other people have hardships too. And that young man was raised in Knox County. I was his neighbor and I knew him growing up. He had a hard life. And I'm so proud of him for the steps and all the, you know, learning all the information and everything, trying to protect people in our community, in our county. And he didn't have an easy life, but he's turned into a really good young man, and I'm so proud of him. And his family is gonna be surrounded by 3.5 sides of solar panels, and as she was saying, they're getting ready to have another baby. And I just hope that you guys will look into, you know, and think about everything, and just, especially with people that's gonna be surrounded, you know, by 3 or 4 sides or whatever. And I guess that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Phyllis Socher, and I just want to touch on something Kelly said about what surrounds her. We also have radio towers I can see out my window. We also have a gas plant I can almost see out my window. I had a coal mine in my backyard for years and years. It is not the same as having solar industry 300 feet from your front door, your back door, your side yard, your side yard. You cannot compare that. That is not the same as having an industry around you for the rest of your lifetime. So I hope you would consider that, think about that. 300 feet, that's not enough, just not enough. Thank you.
Gary Powell. I sent you all 3 an email Sunday night. I don't know if you had a chance to read through it or not, but it focuses on more of an economic, what the economic impacts or lack of impacts that solar seems to have wherever it's implemented, whether it's here in Indiana or even out in the desert where they have a lot of sun. But there is, a vastly different economic impact depending on the efficiency of the panels and where they're located. And I remember when, when solar was discussed to be put here in the Midwest years and years ago, I was like, I'm sure everybody else was open to it and inviting to it, but we'd never imagined it becoming this scale of a project. And when it comes down to basics, and that's where my focus is on the economics and the facts about solar and what it produces and what its output is. And there's no denying the fact that one solar panel is in this area is only going to produce so much of an output. It's not going to be increased to any degree over the next 10 years, say. And so in that letter, I had the fact that one panel on a 24-hour basis will only light a 75-watt light bulb, no more. One 75-watt light bulb. Of course, it needs a battery to store what the panel has absorbed in that day. But that's all. It's not going to produce any more than that 10 years from now. And I'm sorry, I have my points here. Yeah, that 400 watts. I'll just get it here if you didn't. I wasn't going to go over the points specifically. But there was a statement made Sunday as I was at the Blue Jean Center there. There's a statement about how cheap this energy is, the solar energy is. Well, relatively speaking, it's not when you put the numbers down to it and on its return. Another constant about a solar panel and the infrastructure that you need it for a solar panel, it's a 10-year payback. That's well documented. You're not going to change that. And any efficiency you can do to a solar panel, it takes 10 years to pay itself back. So it's not inexpensive. In fact, if it was inexpensive, Why did it require $391 billion to start this whole project, start this industry? It's already in the hole at our taxpayers' expense. The claims to this $391 billion funding of this claimed that there was going to be potentially $1,800 a year savings per household. That's already been proven false with CenterPoint canceling $1.4 billion expansion, I believe it is, in solar because of its, in their words, it was, it was non-economical. Well, if they can deem $1.4 billion as being billion, non-economical, why would any solar industry, any solar facility, any solar installation be economical? Why, if they've deemed that as non-economical, why would any one of them be economical? There's not much difference between what they're saying is non-economical and what here would be also economical. Anyway, bottom line, my family, we have 165 acres and we've already been approached for solar expansion. It's less than 2 miles away from the Wheatland facility. And we have every expectation that they're going to come in and offer solar. But we've already decided we're going to turn down because of these issues, these safety issues. There's just so many issues that's drawing into this whatever minimal amount this adds to dollar-wise, tax-wise, energy-wise to the county. Look at all these demands taken upon it. It's not going to have a 10-year payback. It's never going to pay for itself back. We're going to be left in the hole with all this. That's my opinion. I don't think with all this within my letter, that's with all these considerations, that there be, more investigation, as you, Tim, have proposed, or a moratorium. There's just so much more to this. We've never seen any of this in this region of the country to this scale. And there's so many unknowns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Donna.
Donna Taylor Boucher. You guys know me as the question asker, so I have a question. Excuse me. I sound like a frog when the weather changes. Tim, you were just reading something. Could I refer back to that for a second? You said 500 feet is what you recommend because of the value of the property. That needs to be 500 feet away from the property?
Primary structure. And then the well water, that, if there is contaminants in the water, that gives us time to bring water in, or like Charlie said, have some other form brought in for the protection of the homeowner.
Okay,
So.
okay. That's why I wanted to make sure that I understood that. I do support that when we were there on Sunday, we heard a lot of people say, we can compromise. We heard the farm section say we could compromise the 300. And I know that 300 feet from my foundation, my granddaughter, 4-year-old, can kick a soccer ball further than that. So I can appreciate a golf ball going really far. And I'd hope to think my kid wouldn't climb in, but we can't guarantee that if that property line and a few feet past that, because we're not talking 300 feet from the property, we're talking 300 feet from structure. And there's a huge difference. When this is your structure and that is your backyard where you play, or that's your side yard. So I would like for you guys to consider just making a plain Jane 300 from property line. And that would put a lot of people at comfort that that's far enough for their kids to play in their property and the ball still gets out, but they still get it retrieved safely. If it was defined that way, 300 feet from property, I could see that when solar comes in and spends a lot of money drawing out the map and takes considerable amount of time to get started with the approved project. If a house pops up, they don't have to make any alterations. They already planned to be 300 feet from that property. If a new house comes up, they don't have to worry about, oh, now we gotta move it from 300 feet from that structure. There's also, the families would be safe. So, because of the balls, because of just accidents that happen, I mean, kids get out of yards. So if you guys could consider pushing it back 300 from the property line, I think it would be a lot more conducive to families. Thanks.
Thank you.
Joe Hochscher. Just kind of sitting there and I was like, okay, well, it's over with. So I will say, the people that have leased, they've had all the time to work with their lawyers and get what they wanted in their contracts. We have you. That's it. I mean, you would think you could work with your neighbors, but they're set on putting it as close as they can. And so I'll live with whatever you come up with. I would love to have more than 300 if that's what it is. But I will say I'll live with it, but I'm going to be disappointed that it's that and in my neighbors. Thank you.
I have not spoke, but I'm Cody Hendershot, and I wear multiple hats in my life, and two that I'm gonna hit on here is one as a dad. 300 foot from my property line is what needs to happen. 300 foot from my foundation, I'm 300 foot off of the road. So my kids, 3 young kids, can go up there and play in my front yard, virtually 50 feet away from it. Number two, and I have not heard this been said, I'm a school bus driver for South Knox. This is going to affect my bus route. In my situation, if my kids get on my bus and I pick them up at my house, kids are gonna get bored waiting on the bus. They're gonna go play with the solar field. Something to point out.
Thank you.
Is anyone else?
Thank you for all your considerations. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate you having the meeting in Monroe City. Really thank you for that.
Thanks for all the information too, because you guys have put in a lot of work, so I don't take that lightly, so.
Okay, if there's nothing else, our next meeting is March 17th, 2026. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.